On the right, Tomer.
Tomer Azarla with Clutch Points. Kyrie, it's a bit of a two-parter. The sense of desperation that a team plays with down 3-0, are you able to replicate that in another game? Like, how do you bring that same exact mentality in next game?
Yeah, but just by putting it in perspective, just what we're up against, history's going to be made either way, so we would like to be on the right side of it. But it just comes from just the same sentiment, same phrase I was using the other day, just putting our best foot forward. Felt like Game 3, we had a good chance to close out that game to at least put us in a competitive spot. But we waited until Game 4 to ultimately play our best game. Took long enough, for all of us to get to the party together and to play for each other the way we did tonight. But it's definitely a possibility that we can replicate it, but we understand that we're going against the same great Boston team that's going to make it tough, and we're going into their home den, and we have another opportunity to extend the season. That's all we can ask for. So we handled our business tonight, but the job is still an uphill battle, and we understand that.
I saw that you...
Let's go in the middle.
Blake Elliott, 105.3 The Fan. Kai, I asked you on Wednesday about your mindset, right here in the middle. I asked you on Wednesday about your mindset and staying positive and extending the series, and you shared a metaphor to get the bazooka, the 50 cal. Do you think that job was executed tonight, and then how does that help kind of the way y'all won tonight in a hostile Boston crowd for Game 5?
Yeah, no, it was how we started off the game, and our ability to go home, get some rest, not having the same 48 hours to get our bodies ready and recover. So it felt like it was pretty much the regular season in terms of that aspect. And, what I was referring to in that metaphor is just go home and get all the armor and get all the ammo that you need and get ready for this, because we're going to have to keep firing away to give ourselves a chance on the offensive end. But I think for us, we wanted to make it very much more respectable than it has been in the past few games in terms of limiting our mistakes on the defensive end. We've been one of the best teams in the league of getting stops, and that's been our identity. And we play better, I think, offensively, and this is just my opinion. I think it can vary across the team, but I think we play better offensively when we're getting stops and able to push the pace and get easy opportunities in transition, which we weren't doing the past few games as often. So it felt good to be on the positive end of seeing our hard work reward us, and especially on the defensive end.
Third row here, Dave.
Kyrie, Dave McMahon with ESPN. You're so familiar with it, what it's like to be in the eye of the storm, playing at the ultimate stage in the NBA. That said, how would you describe Luka's response tonight?
I think he made a few people eat their words in a healthy way. I'll say that in a healthy way. I don't want to curse up here or anything like that or get anyone into any, unnecessary beef, right, between us as players and the media. But I think this is his first opportunity and first taste of what it's like to be on this stage and to not play up to your capabilities or to be out there towards the end of the game where every mistake is magnified. I think that's probably what I'm really referring to, is when every mistake is magnified, there is going to be a response, and that's you guys' job to give us your criticism, and then we go home and deal with it in a healthy way, hopefully. But I think with Luka, just like I've been reiterating to the guys, just stay off of social media as best you can, man, and just enjoy the moment that we're in. And it's not just about making it this far. It's about figuring out the little nuances to get wins on this stage. That's what it's about for us as competitors, and that's where our focus should be. So he responded very well, and I expected it. I think a lot of people expected it too that have seen Luka, have known Luka, but just didn't know how it was going to happen. And he made some things happen tonight that I was very proud of him, and he grew. And that's what we've been talking about too since the beginning of the series, is our growth and us trending in the right direction and figuring out how we get wins together as a group with all those external factors still going on. How do you still lock in? How do you still focus in? How do you breathe through some of those mistakes? And I think he did a great job of that tonight. So hopefully we can still extend this series going into Game 5, but we know we still have to play our best, and we have to control what we control. Yeah.
Fourth row, Ramona.
Kyrie, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. You talked the other day about how Boston really knows your game because you were there, you know those guys, and that was the challenge you had to meet yourself, of them just really knowing how you play.
Yeah, how many games was it that they had in a row? Was it 17?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how have you been able to take that? Like, when somebody knows what you do, how have you been able to evolve throughout this game and maybe the last half of the last game too?
It's taken time, I tell you that. And it's It's difficult because as a competitor, you try not to display all your emotions out there to give an edge, but when you're going against some of the best, they're going to use everything to their advantage, and I think they've been able to do that, and that's why I refer to just having my number or knowing my game very well, and I think I was able to take a step back, too, and talk to my teammates a little bit more about just what that pressure can feel like, not just from losing to a team, but just going against a team and knowing that they're doing everything possible to stop you, but it's a team game. So I have to really rely on my teammates, and I think we all did a great job of that tonight, of just continuing to support each other. And it's not just me versus Celtics or Luka versus Celtics or anyone versus the media. It's us, against the world, sort of say, and going against this good Celtics team. You saw all those Celtics fans in there tonight. So they travel in packs. When we go back to Boston, there's going to be a bunch of them yelling a whole bunch of crazy stuff still. But I think we've been able to grow and face kind of this adversity head on, and we're figuring out each other in a crazy way during the highest stage of basketball. So it's a beautiful thing, but it's also can be chaotic if you don't know how to stay poised through it. So I think we're figuring out each other throughout those phases. Appreciate the question, Ramon.
6th row, Vinny.
Kyrie, Vince Goodwill, Yahoo Sports. Before the game tonight, Jason had an impassioned sort of defense of the criticism to Luka.
Rightfully so. Yeah.
What does it mean when the coach goes out of his way to have his players back unprompted like that, like feeling that support?
I think it shows you how important it is to have quality leaders in the locker room and somebody that's been through it, somebody that can talk through it, and also somebody that's more than willing to sacrifice themselves to take the bullets and the brunt of the responsibility, because he knows how important it is for us to focus on the right things. We can't be focused on trying to answer all these unfair critical questions. I mean, some of them may be fair, right? But I think if you're not necessarily out there playing with us, it's going to be hard for us to connect, if you're talking shit about one of our teammates. And we're not going to go for it. And I think that's what you're seeing, not just from us, but our head coach. He's dealt with his fair share of criticism from some of you guys in this room and some guys in the past. And some of you criticize him as a coach, rightfully so, like I said. But I think if it goes over a certain boundary, you're going to see real humans step up and protect their brother or their sister. So I think that's what you saw from J. Kidd. I'm proud of him, and I have the same sentiment, man. That's our little brother right there, and he's in the finals. He's going to make mistakes, and that's why I also had that kind of peaceful sentiment about me after the game. I'm not about to go up to Luka and just say it's all your fault. That's not how it works in our locker room, and we dang sure don't want to start those bad habits now. I've been on teams where we've allowed the media or opinions to infiltrate what we have going on, and it has not worked out well. So I think we put our best foot forward and focus on the things we control, and we got a good thing going here.
1st row on the right, Mike.
Mike Curtis, Dallas Morning News. Kyrie, Derek Lively had 2 3-point attempts this season in his career. When he hoisted that shot up, what were you thinking? And what can a shot like that on this stage do for his confidence going forward?
I mean, if you're familiar with D-Live's game, then in high school he was shooting those threes. He was on a pretty good team, too, that ended up winning a few championships together. But D-Live had an expanded game, sort of say, when he was in high school. It's crazy. I was watching highlights not too long ago, but when he shoots that, I have the utmost confidence. I think it surprised a lot of people in the arena because of the attempts and that he hasn't had yet. But for him to step up and shoot that shot, we needed it, and created a little bit more separation in the game. It eased everybody else out, and it eased everybody else's feelings that were out there with him. And when you have our one of our vocal leaders making a 3 like that, you best believe he's going to come to the bench and let everybody know he made that shot. So everybody was happy for him, and we knew it was a big shot. So, man, more credit to him. Want him to keep working on it. But I don't know if he shoots it again, but if he's open and shoots it, then we have the confidence in him.
1st row, Tim.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. You talk about poise a lot. I know that's something you've worked with Luka on in terms of not letting frustration affect his focus. He vowed to stay out of it with the refs today. He did that. When he's locked in on the game and not the refs, what impact does that have on him? What impact does that have bleeding over the rest of you guys?
Yeah, well, Tim, I think what we have to also account for is we're in a very physical game. So when you're getting beat up like that, out there every single play down, you're going to have something to say to the refs. And in Luka's case, his relationship with the refs is not always the healthiest during games. And, the referees are humans too, so we have to respect what they do. They're just a big part of this game too. It could sway either way. And I think what you're seeing is him just taking accountability as best he can at this point in his life. And, he's a young person still trying to figure it out. So I give him that grace. But also we got to give him a little tough love where, we let him know and reiterate that you got to stay off those guys a little bit. So I think it's just lessons being learned. And when he is locked in like that and he's not paying attention to the rest, he is, a huge, impactful player for us and a great leader for us. So we just want him to stay consistent on that and not be too hard on himself either if he's going to do that. If he gets a tech, so be it. No one's fratting the eye, but if we're trying to get back into the game and we need the refs, then there has to be a different perspective, a different approach you got to take. So sometimes a good conversation works with the refs. Sometimes eye-to-eye conversation works with them. But when you're shit-talking them and MFing them all the time, it could get to them too. So I'm not saying that we're all perfect, but we got to use everything to our advantage on a positive note.
Thanks, Kyrie.
Yep.